at PGF Court.
The topic at hand. Should grapplers be able to freely approach the judges and referees table during the competition? And Tim?
Well, I'm going to argue that you should not be allowed to indiscriminately approach the bench. I'm not a tyrant. Yes, you should be able to, but with particular conditions. Listen, they have the hardest job in the building. The judge has the hardest job. He's got to start the warning clock. He's got to track the shot clock. He's got to blow the whistle. He's got to throw the flag, all while keeping a keen eye on the Constitution, Kevin, of the PGF. These guys don't get paid enough. They work part-time at Foot Locker. They give zebra rides at the local 4-H on Sundays. They're out there struggling, and we can't have our contestants going up, throwing a tantrum, pretending like our judges are mommy and daddy. It doesn't work that way. The man next to me would have you believe that we need a parliament with people screaming and yelling and catcalling and wearing wigs. This is America. We're ruled by law. We respect the court. We ask, may we approach? We are granted permission, and we approach. It's not a free-for-all.
Thank you for your time, Tim. You have run out. We now go to Kevin's opening statement.
Well, I want to start off by agreeing with Tim. He's exactly right. This is America. We have freedom of speech. We have accountability for our officials, and in the PGF, our governing officials, among them are the referees. They govern these matches. They have a lot to say, and we need to hold them accountable as we always have. We need to be free to throw that tee in the harbor. I want to hold them accountable by rule of angry mob. I think you should be able to approach the bench violently and at full speed. Raise your voice, have your dialogue with those referees, and create an open discourse. I think that's the only way we get to the most egalitarian, that means fair, solution for everybody.
You're not going to take your last 15.
I don't think I need it. I really feel like I killed it.
Okay, then you're going to start your cross-X right now. 1 minute on the clock. Kevin, please, now ask your questions to Tim Freeman.
Mr. Tim Freeman, you brought up the Constitution. Is that something you value?
Yes.
Absolutely. And do you know the First Amendment?
Yes.
Could you state it for me, please?
Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. So I believe these athletes, while they are here in America, and while the PGF takes place in America, it should reflect our values of freedom of speech, which was made the First Amendment because of the sheer value it has for holding those people accountable. Now, I would like you to tell me why you believe that should be regulated.
I'm going to object to this question. Is this a cross-examination question, Your Honor?
Restate the question, Counselor.
Why do you hate free speech?
I don't hate free speech, Kevin.
And Tim?
Kevin, do you believe in rule of law?
Yes.
Do you believe that your First Amendment should be backed up by the rule of law?
Yes.
Thank you. When is the last time you were arraigned? And when you were arraigned, did you hop over the banister and skip up to the judge and sit in his seat and spin around 3 times and strike the gavel?
Objection. I don't know what arraign means.
So you
It's
have
very
not
dry.
been... Okay.
Hold on. Tim, use simpler words. You know his limitations.
Have you ever had to go to court because you did something wrong?
Do speeding tickets count?
No.
Yeah, he said wrong. I feel like I don't think I was
Okay,
in the
so
wrong.
you've never been to court?
No.
Okay, so you don't even know how court works. Is
I
that
am
fair to say?
My 2 close friends are lawyers, sir.
But you've never been to court.
I assume standing around them has given
Kevin,
me some
do you
sort-
respect the PGF?
Yes.
So you do. Do you respect Brandon?
Yes.
But you don't respect his decisions to put judges in place?
Is Brandon a referee?
He's not a referee. He's the boss of the PGF.
So you admit that there is some...
He's George Washington. Okay? You don't respect that? Or you do?
And that'll extend the time that was given for cross-examination. God help us all. Tim, you can now start your closing statement.
Listen, God help us all, because this man would like you to have a free-for-all in the PGF. Why? Because he's uncouth, he's undisciplined, and he's wild. He wants to go buck wild like Elijah Carlton and the rest of the gang. All right? You can approach the bench. We have freedom of speech, but you have to do it in a way. You can't just run in and do what you want without being held in contempt. The more people we have rushing the bench, the less these refs can do their job. This man would have you believe in taxation without representation, because that's where he's trying to take us back to. And I say, no way, Kevin.
You're going to not use your last 30 seconds either?
Okay, I'll use my last 30 seconds. I appreciate that, because I don't have a clock and I can't see it.
It literally is up there.
Okay, well, I can't see it. There's a light in my
You now
way.
have 10 seconds.
Okay, well, Kevin, listen. It's not my fault you cheat on your taxes.
Okay. All right, let's now go to
Said you
Kevin.
wouldn't tell anybody.
Kevin, you have 1 minute on the clock for your closing statement.
Tim says that what I would have you do is take you back to taxation without representation. No, I would like us to remain independent. He called us uncouth, undisciplined, and wild. And you know what? We are. You know what also is? America. We need to be free to express ourselves. We need to be free to take to the streets. I'm bringing a musket with me, metaphorically, and I am going to uphold my literal freedom of speech. I need to stress metaphorically. I don't own a musket. I'm sorry.
Tim, yeah, we'll acknowledge you. I wouldn't normally, but what do you have to say?
I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to object that he's making threatening statements to me right
A
now.
metaphorical musket.
This guy is going to shoot a metaphorical musket at me.
I'm
Probably
going to be
stuffed
honest with you. I'm
dirty
just
rash
letting the
guards.
time run out at this point.
Kevin, you've defiled yourself.
It's insane. You don't understand what metaphorical means, but you know the word arraigned.
Time's
It's insane.
expired. Okay. Gentlemen, where do I begin? We are all dumber for having heard any of the words that came out of both of your mouths. I'm going to start with the argumentation. First and foremost, Tim, you threw out words that I'm not sure you fully understand, but Constitution was one of them. You also previewed an argument that didn't actually exist from your opponent. So you actually threw out an argument that wasn't even brought in, and that was during your opening statement. So thank you for that. But you did idea out very well in discussing the idea of Parliament for Kevin, and I think that was the crux of your argument. Kevin, your argumentation today, much better than it has been in the past. You seem passionate about this. You actually gave us thesis statements for your argumentation. During cross-ex, however, Tim Freeman is a powerful cross-examiner, and Kevin faltered to the point where he might have been arguing about freedom of speech and then said he's just a friend with a lawyer, which makes him a lawyer by proxy, which is not how it works. He's essentially just trying to make the argument he can say certain words in rap videos because he has certain friends.
I'm telling you.
However, where this truly fell apart is for both of you turning this from an argument about talking to the judges and the referees into a 4th of July parade. Gentlemen, this is a mistrial because you tied all the way through. You both had one good element and then totally screwed the closing statements. We will not be able to retry this for at least 6 weeks. There is no appeals process. You must deal with it.
Kevin doesn't believe in the 4th of July. I have the receipts right here, Your Honor.
What is
I
that?
forgot to
love
present them.
America.
You always got to bring receipts to court.
I should point out, when you're describing the fact that you have a musket, I hope that most people know you don't. But when you stop arguing,
We need to be free to express ourselves. We need to be free to take to the streets. I'm bringing a musket with me, metaphorically, and I am going to uphold my literal freedom of speech. I need to stress metaphorically. I don't own a musket.
I wouldn't normally, but what do you have to say?
I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah,
I
go
just
ahead. And then really collapse under the weight of the picturing of a musket and loading it. I feel like maybe we're going to waste people's time.
I had
here.
an always sunny moment imagining them trying to get a musket into the court to make their point.
Well,
and I lost.
Unfortunately, the original ruling will stand. This is unfortunately a mistrial. Thanks to both of you for trying, I guess.